So welcome to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting for November 23rd, 2022. Before we get started, are there any announcements that people would like to share? So welcome to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting. Oh, there's Matteo. Just going to wait for he to be promoted in case Matteo, I don't know if we were just at the announcements, and do you have any announcements they'd like to share this week?
No, I don't have any announcement to share. So.
Okay, so let us move on to the agenda then. The first item on the agenda is the CPC and board meeting updates. I guess anything, Matteo, on that front to share?
No, there is no. The board is working on the budget for next year, and more or less that's the main update. There is the economic turmoil of tech means that things are a little bit more uncertain than past years, essentially. So that's the major takeaway. There's going to be as was otherwise discussed in other situation in other calls. There's not going to be a big conference next year from us, from OpenJS. So there's not going to do a OpenJS World the same way that was done in Austin and before that in Canada. But it will be an ancillary event on top of another Linux Foundation conference. And the conference will be the Open Source Summit. These enable us to save a lot of money. Okay, conferences are typically where the foundation loses most of its money. So, and that will make sure that we can keep operating, essentially. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's the summing it all up in very broad strokes. Okay, so.
Yeah, and I think the smaller conferences still give us a good place for the collaborator summits. Which
so the collaborator summits will go ahead in the same exact way as before. Okay, but we will have a little bit, I think, less talks than before. But to be honest, maybe it's not even a bad thing. So I'm not super not concerned, too much concerned. But there will be more events. So instead of doing one big splash, there will probably be two similar next year. So we will have another place to do the collaborator summit in September, for example, more or less.
Okay, let's then move on to the items on the agenda. And I see actually so the first one is nominating Raphael to the TSC number 1308. Our governance, I think, mentions that this needs to be tagged for the agenda, so it's here.
Is Raphael not being invited? I don't see him today.
Yeah, I don't think we haven't invited him or added him to the agenda yet.
Oh, okay.
I think, based on the feedback, that is the next step to say, like, Beth nominated. I think somebody just needs to go back and count up the TSC +1s, but I can tell that it's just going to be a yes, in which case we should go to the onboarding step, I think. Looking very positive in the issue. So I don't know if there's anything else to discuss on that other than, I think we just need to close out. Of course, if anybody has any concerns or anything, can reach out to other TC members, but I just don't see that in any of the issue or anything like that. So I think we can move on to other issues on the agenda. There was one other agenda issue, but I think, Jeffrey, you probably removed that because whatever was required from that has been done async. Is that correct?
Mostly. I was just going to say, I think I think whoever put the Targos put the comment that at least he knows like where that error is coming from. But I don't think that was like quite enough to get him past it. So what I was going to say is like, does anyone have any time to, or know anyone who's not on the TSC who has some time to just help Jacob, get through this PR? Just because I want to try to get this over the finish line so we can land it, because then we can make the loaders API stable. So, and it's been dragging on for several months now. So anyone who knows V8 stuff, threads and workers stuff, would be really helpful.
And just for some additional context, since it's the link isn't in the issue anymore, do you have the link to the PR so I can just put it in there?
I'll get it in the chat. 1 second. Hold on.
Okay, thanks. So obviously the loader, this PR is using some V8 APIs, but it's failing to compile. Is that the?
I think it compiles, but as soon as you run it, the node binary just dies on some V8 error.
Right.
Yep, that one.
Okay, thanks. So that's basically the last thing that needs to land as a prereq to making loader stable.
Yeah, if you go to github.com/node.js/loaders, the README there has like our list of to-dos, and I split it up into like milestone 1 and milestone 2. Milestone 1 is like, to get stable essentially, and milestone 2 is everything we could do after declaring the API stable, where like landing any of these things would not be breaking changes essentially. And this is there's only 2 PRs left for stability, but the first one is done. It's just going through code review right now, but it's finished and working. And the code review that's in progress looks pretty promising. It's just like cleanup work, so I'm not worried about that one. And then there's this one. So yeah, and then the importance of the loaders API more generally is I heard from some instrumentation vendors that they were waiting for this to go stable in order to officially support ESM or consider their ESM support not stable or non-experimental. So yeah, it's a milestone.
Yeah. And I guess, just from Targos's comment, it may not be a V8 thing, right? So it's
yeah, I mean, who knows? It's like stuff related to Bootstrap and threads, so, and I guess V8 isolates, or how we implement threads under the hood. But this is all stuff that's like beyond my expertise in the code base. So yeah.
right. I was just mentioning that because it may be, somebody who's got good expertise in the Bootstrap startup versus V8 itself, right?
Yeah, it could very well be that. You're right. Jacob's been reaching out to Anna, I'm not sure how to say her name. And she's been helping a bit, but I think he's running into, her availability. So yeah.
Sorry, I
asked him
who else was helping a bit too?
Anna.
I know, okay.
Anna. But I think he's been running into the limits of her availability. I asked Jacob what his availability was, and he said he was traveling this week, but starting with next week, has a lot of availability for the next few weeks. So if there's anyone or multiple people who have time to pitch in, hopefully we can get this wrapped up before the end of the year.
Any questions or anything from people that before we move on? If not, let's move on. That takes us to the bottom of the list of things that were on the agenda. So we can now look at strategic initiatives. So let me just pull those up. To the right place. Okay, and I'm just going to go from the top and look at people that we have. Shenzong, anything on Shadow Realm you'd like to add?
Yeah, I have submitted a new PR regarding defining per isolate internal bindings. So I posted the link in the chat, and we also had a chat with Matteo and Joy and Colin about the forming a GitHub team to collaborate on the reviewing on the PRs and works on the Shadow Realm. So that's the progress of the strategic initiative.
Okay, now that's good. Sounds like good progress. The next one I'm looking at is startup performance. Joy, I don't know if you have any
Just
updates. Oh,
on
sorry, go ahead.
the realms thing, can we just go ahead and form that group? I mean, do we need to wait on that for any reason?
So sorry, I didn't catch your question.
Can we go ahead and form the group? Like whatever it was, the GitHub team, and add the people and so on? I think it's just sitting as an open PR or open PR an issue on the admin repo.
I think our process is just you open the issue in the admin repo, and after, I don't know if we've even got it documented as a specific number of days, but like after a number of days, unless anybody objects, I think we just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
But how long has the issue been open for? Is it
2 days?
Looks like 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be fine to then just go ahead and create the team and add the people to it.
I just wanted to mention, so I've been like very intermittently in touch with Bradley, and he is not really participating in Node at the moment, but he is like kind of like watching what's going on, and he was very invested in Realms, you know, a while ago when he was a more active participant, and so he noticed that issue, and I asked him if he wanted me to add him to the team so he'd get the pings, and he said yes. So whoever's going to add, or whoever's going to create that team, I guess just let me know and I can add him after it exists.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I can definitely add Bradley.
Or just add him directly when you create the team. That's fine too. But, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. Thank you,
So I guess, Rich, you're mentioning that 72 hours is our usual time frame.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's documented for groups, so it might just be sort of like it's what we've documented for other activities. I think in this case, just creating a group is fine. I don't really. Especially there's 12 of us here who are nobody seems to have any concerns about just creating the group. So let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I guess like creating a new repository is 72 hours or whatever. So that's probably but yeah, I totally think we should just go ahead and do it. Sorry, anything before I go back to Joey on startup performance? Okay, Joey, anything you want to add on Joy on startup performance this week?
Sorry, I was checking out the loader pull request. I'm not sure what is going on because the thing caused the error was pull request in a long time ago. I can try looking into it, but not sure if I can have enough time this year to like help resolve it. Pretty sure it's probably related to how they use the API, the internal API. But anyway, on the startup performance side, not much progress other than I added a bunch of other things into the startup snapshot, and yeah, just continue adding more stuff in the startup snapshot for the contexts.
Okay, and I guess the more you add, the quicker it starts up, right?
Like right now, It's basically everything that's in a default snapshot is there. What I'm trying to do is to support years length snapshots. So that you can have custom VM contexts in your snapshot.
Okay, got it. Going down the list for here. Next 10, the next 10 team is working on incorporating the feedback from the summit, as well as doing a survey. So doing another, we did a survey last year to sort of get feedback in terms of the constituencies that were identified, the technical priorities. And so one of the key things that's being discussed is like another survey to follow up on that this year to see, kind of confirm discussions and that have been happening and stuff like that. Survey. And I think Darshan, I know you're not Jesse's listed as a champion for single executable apps, but I know that you're very active in that. So I wonder if you want to add a few words on that one.
Sure. So I was mostly out of office last week, so I didn't do any work then. But before that, I had sent a PR to add post-check to test/fixtures. This was the conclusion, like one of the conclusions of the meeting we had in the single executable repo. So the PR is still there and it hasn't really got much reviews. So I would appreciate if someone could do that.
Can you drop the link in the chat here?
Sure.
Thanks.
Just grabbing that. I'll grab that and put that in the minutes. Thank you. Right, so that ends at adding it to the test fixtures versus anything that actually gets shipped.
Yeah.
Okay. And that takes us to the end of the list. Is there anything else that we should talk about in the meeting this week before we close out? If not, then thanks for everybody who came to the meeting, and thanks to anybody who's watching on live stream. We'll see you in GitHub and next time. Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Bye bye.
Everyone.